Hello and welcome. Today, we're going to take a quick walk through MeWe, the desktop version. I've already done a mobile app version, which you can get a link to that below the video. But today, we're going to talk through about the desktop version of MeWe platform, social media platform, and kind of point out some of the main functionality and pretty much everything about it, but without going through a lot of detail because that would take hours. Eventually, I do plan to record additional smaller videos specifically for certain parts of MeWe, but today we're going to do a walkthrough through the entire platform. I'm Oleg Moskalansky with PCS, and let's just dive right in. So jumping into the screen here, as you can see, there's a lot of stuff to see. All of a sudden this morning I come up and I bring up MeWe, and this is what I get. So a lot of stuff. I'm also going to be talking quite a bit about some of the similarities and differences with Google+. There's a lot of people who were kind of left stranded. One of my suggestions for where to move was to use MeWe as the new platform, their new home for socializing. And there's a lot of, I've been on Google+ since its inception all the way to the end. And so I got to know it pretty well. And there is a lot of similarities. There's also a lot of differences. So I'm going to point out from time to time what some of the similarities and differences are and how to use them. So when we get to MeWe, first thing we see, like I said, is that it's very different from just about anything out there. Some things are similar, but pretty much very different. MeWe is broken down to several entities in terms of organization. First entity is the timeline, as they call it, which is your main stream of content that includes posts from you, everything you post, and your followers, as they call them, contacts, but not all of them. In other words, every time you add a contact, you have a choice. Do you want to see their content in your stream or not? And if you say yes, then you will see it in your stream. So anybody who you're following, you'll be able to see it in the stream, and at the same time, your own content there. So that's what you see there in the middle of the screen right here. That's the main content right there. Okay, that's the timeline, they call it. Okay. In addition to having this timeline, also things are broken into pages and groups. And pages are very similar to Google Plus branded pages that they used to have. And also they're very similar to collections that Google Plus used to have. In other words, it's a way to have content whereby you're the only contributor to that content in terms of the actual main posts, but you have other people that can also see that content. And if you choose, if you don't make it private, and also on that content, they can comment. So people can comment on your pages and people can view your pages, but they cannot add posts to your pages. So that's the biggest difference between, for example, pages and groups. And the next category is groups. And groups is very similar to pages with one major exception being that you have content that's created by you and by any member of this group. So if you set up a group that's not private, and MeWe has very granular controls over privacy settings and security, much, much better than Google Plus ever had. And so you're able to spend a little bit more time because you need to fine tune and adjust all of these, and you can change them anytime, but at the same time gives you a lot more control over who can see what, when, and how. So in groups, you're able to get people into the group. I mean, people can join the group if you let them. And then when they join the group, they're able to post to that group as well. So you have a situation similar to Google Plus communities. So the pages are similar to branded pages and collections in Google Plus, and groups are similar to Google Plus communities. Now, it's a little bit confusing because on the mobile version, they actually have a term called communities that encompasses both groups and pages. Not that it mixes them together, but you can get to them from a single place called communities on the mobile app. But on the desktop app here, you can see there's nothing that says communities, and you just have your groups and you have your pages. So on the main interface, the way they have it set up is you can go through all the main categories right at the top, and you typically see all of them, and easy to get to them by jumping to the top. So as you can see when I'm scrolling here, I still see the top navigation bar, which makes it very simple to go to any of these entities that I've mentioned, as well as go to the home page by clicking on the logo, MeWe logo, and you have search for anything in one search bar, and then you have some other things which we'll cover. So let's just start from left to right and from top to bottom and go through everything as quickly as we can. So on the left here, you see it says home, and over here is home, and you have a little red dot. So what that means is we're currently in the home, on the home page, meaning the main page you usually start out with. And that page has your main stream or your main timeline that has, like, for example, there is a post from Linda Laurie, who is one of the people I follow, and it shows that, you know, she's made this post 2 days ago, and you have some controls on the right here where you can indicate if you want to see notifications about anybody posting here, or if you want to report it as something that shouldn't be here to MeWe. You got some other options down below. But basically, this is your timeline where you can scroll through and see it. Okay. In addition to that, you have ability to easily invite people. It says invite your friends to join, and meaning to join you as a contact. Okay, or so they follow you. In other words, if I click on invite your friends to join, notice that they're able to go to any of other big social networks from here, and you can share on these networks, but you can also upload your address book to invite friends using whatever email you have. So if you have Gmail, you click on Gmail, it pulls up a list, as long as you authorize it, of course, a list of people in your Gmail contacts, and then those people will get notified with a link to be able to follow you on MeWe. Or you can just create posts that go directly into WhatsApp or Twitter or Facebook, or you can just copy a link and share it via email or via any other service, basically. And you can also distribute QR code. If I click on QR code, it's going to download this QR code, and if I pull it up, this is the QR code I can share with anybody I want, and all I have to do is scan it with their mobile device, which is very easily done using either Google Lens, which is standalone, or in Google Photos, or on Google Assistant on Androids, and the camera app on iPhone can also scan the QR codes. And so that'll allow them to join MeWe and follow you directly from this QR code. So it's kind of handy. That's what people do these days. You can also invite people by email, by putting in their email address. You can put in as many addresses as you want. So very easy, convenient way for you to invite other people to join you on MeWe, right from the top of the page there. Then you have ability to browse groups. And groups we discussed, groups are like communities in Google+, where people can all contribute in terms of content, in terms of posts. And when I say contribute, keep in mind that, you know, in terms of commenting, if you're allowed to comment, then you can comment. It doesn't matter who you follow, how you follow, it doesn't make any difference. If there is an option for comment when you look through content, then you can comment. It has nothing to do with anything else in terms of being able to post posts or not. Okay, you can still comment. So we'll go into groups shortly here. Then you have chats. So that's one of the big differences between Google Plus and MeWe, is that in Google Plus there was no such thing as chats. You know, we had comments for posts and we had posts, but that was pretty much it. Here they made it. They took kind of an extra step to make it more engaging and more capable of engaging, by saying they're going to have a separate category for chats, and I'll go into this into more detail later. But right now, just so you know, that you can do different levels of chats. You can do chats with, it's pretty extensive what you can do with chats, basically. So this is where you have your chats that typically you deal with, and people you've talked to recently. Also notice that I mentioned the little red dot here at the top where it says home. That means I have some posts in my main timeline on homepage that are new, that I haven't seen yet. And same goes for just about anywhere you see little red blips, like over here in chat. This little number 3 here represents that there's 3 comments in this particular, this happens to be a group, this particular group that I have not read yet. So everything is very much personalized. And here are 65 comments I haven't looked through, and I'm an admin on this one, so I better get through these things very soon here. And then you can see right here, Linda Laurie here is currently online because it's got a little green dot next to her in the chat. So I know if I go to chat to talk to her, it's likely she'll respond because she's actually currently online and logged into MeWe. So that's how you can tell who is online. You know, the Carmelita here has got a little gray dot, meaning she's not online. But Ken Webster has a green dot, meaning he is online. So it's very easy to get into chat to chat with individual people. Again, major departure from Google Plus in terms of personal engagement. So that's the left side. Then on the right side, if you jump to the top and you look on the right side, you have right in the middle here, it says tell your contacts what's happening. So this is how you create a brand new post. You can either paste the URL in there, you can start typing something. So those are the 2 main ways how you can put content in there. You can also, one of the really nice things about MeWe is ability to add photos. And you can add photos just like you could on Google Plus. You know, 1 photo, multiple photos in each post, no problem. But the beauty about how they got it set up is you can actually paste photos in here. There were many situations on Google Plus where it was impossible to get the photo in there because maybe it was from somebody else's account. And what you had to do, you had to download the photo or grab it from the screen to be able to post in Google Plus post. In MeWe, you can simply do copy of the image by right-clicking on the image and selecting copy, and then simply pasting it right here. So for example, I can jump, just to give you a quick example, if I jump into Google Photos, you know, I have all these photos here, but to show you what the problem is, I'll show you right here. If I click here to create a new post, notice I have ability to add a photo. Right here it says photo. So if I click on photo, it opens my folders on my local computer. It does not go to Google Photos. So what it means I need to jump to Google Photos. I need to pick the image I want to post. For example, let's pick a good one. Let's pick this one from yesterday. Okay. And then let's say I want to go ahead and post it. Well, if I click on post, I don't have an option for MeWe. I have Facebook, I have Twitter, I can create a link. But if you create a link, then it comes up, it says new photo by Oleg Moskalansky. I don't want to see, I just want the photo. I don't want any additional text. I don't want any even reference to Google Photos. So I really don't have any choice here to do it. So the way it's done, I can download the photo, and then of course I can edit from my drive by using that other approach to include a photo, as I showed you a few seconds ago. It's too much hassle to do all of this. Well, all I have to do is right click, and then, and this is of course on the PC, on the Macs will be a little different. And I select copy image, and then I jump back into my MeWe, and I simply put the cursor in there and hit Control V for paste. And when I do that, there goes my photo right there, right in my post. So as you can see, it's pretty quick, pretty easy, and it's the way to get photos into MeWe, the easiest way to get photos into MeWe. You just right click, copy image, and then paste it into here. And of course, I can add more images by clicking more images, and it will do this, which is not what I want. So you don't want to be doing that. What you want to do is, again, jump into your photos, pick a photo you like. Let's pick these 2 guys. No, I don't like these 2 guys. Bad angle. Let's pick this one. This is one of those super skies in Kirkland. And right click, copy, jump to this tab, and click somewhere in the text portion and hit Control V, and there's my second photo right there. Okay, and so we're creating a post here, so you can see I can just start typing some text. This is just the post. I mean, this is how easy it is to create a post. If you want photos, you can. You don't have to. In addition to putting some text in here, notice on the right I have some ability to put some emojis. We have tons of emojis, and you can buy some emojis. And this is, I'll just take a second to indicate, there's several things that we'll mention one of them is these additional packs of emojis, where it says you buy custom emojis. This is how MeWe is monetizing their platform. This is how they're able to pay for all the improvements and enhancements and maintenance and support and everything else. So I highly encourage you. I realize people coming from Google Plus will never pay a cent, and did a lot of complaining when they died. It's just not something you can normally sustain. MeWe is not a company like Google has other products and other ways to make money. This is, as far as I know, their only baby here. And so they're trying to do their best. They already brought a lot of functionality in before even charging anybody a cent. But it's really important to keep them going so they don't have the same end result as Google Plus did. And for that, we need to support them. And that's one way you can support it, is by buying some of these things they have for sale. Keep in mind that the platform itself is free. In other words, everything I'm going to show you today, except for when I mentioned this costs something, it doesn't cost a cent. So most of the functionality you see is all free. But I definitely would encourage everybody to support them by buying some of these things. Don't buy what you don't need. I didn't buy any custom emojis because I don't need them. I'll never use them. But there are certain things that they have that are to pay for. For example, on the mobile side, they have a dark theme, which is very nice. And a lot of people like to use dark themes today, these days, I mean. And so it's only $1.99 one time. It's nothing. $2, you're going to pay more for a cup of coffee at Starbucks, okay? But it does support them, and obviously with enough people doing it, it'll certainly give them some revenue and income to be able to maintain it. So I definitely encourage everybody to support MeWe by buying some of the things that you do need. And one of these things, if you like their emojis, you can buy custom. But if you don't buy them, you can see there's plenty of other emojis to use. So you can add emojis. Let's stay on the page, I don't want to cancel. And then you can also put in hashtags. Now, hashtags are useful. Most of you, I'm sure, already know, if not all of you, what hashtags are used for. And it's important to use them for the purposes of organization. I mentioned about organizing content in groups and pages and main timeline, but also to subdivide that into other easily searchable means. That's where you use the hashtags, to be able to easily find information, okay? I'll show you when I do a search in a minute what it is. So don't go crazy creating 100 hashtags, but do put at least one, maybe several, that makes sense so you later can get to it, okay? It makes it much, much easier to find things when you're looking for certain hashtags, and as people create more and more content, it'll be even that much more relevant to be able to do it. So definitely use hashtags. So like in this case, I would use a hashtag I would call Sky Candy, and when I click on it, notice it comes up with a little pop-up, and as I start typing, it tries to find anything that has this particular hashtag. It didn't find any, so it says create a new one. So I'll say, yeah, because I use this, I'm going to use it in the future. So this is, Sky Candy. And if I wanted to use some other one, I could use it. Of course, you can use hashtags that other people have done. You can see there's a ton of them. And when you type in the search, and it says create a new tag, it's really a search box. So you're not really creating anything yet. If you type in something new, it'll tell you, do you want to create a new one like I just did? And if you select the existing one, it's going to go ahead and do that one. So like if I wanted to click on this 10,000 photographers, then I would click on it and notice it sticks it right in the post. And of course, if I wanted to get rid of it, I just click on the little X. So it's very intuitive in many ways. And so we put our hashtag. Let's put an emoji in there too. So we'll put a little check sign, green check sign. And then in addition to that, on the right, you have text formatting capabilities with this T and underscore. What that means, it means I can select the word test, click on this, and then I can make it bold, just like that. And I can select the word this, and I can make it italic like that. And I can click the word post and make it bold and italic at the same time. So you get the idea, okay? You can also do strike-throughs. So here's what strike-through looks like. So you can do directly for just selecting part of text, and then you can see you can make very, very rich text formatting using these kind of controls. There's also manual ways to do it using Markdown, which I'll show a little bit later. But for now, just use these. It'll make it easier. You'll remember it and everything else, so that's fine. Notice when I click on the X, it says, do you want to stay on this page or cancel? So you can accidentally post something you don't really want. Okay, it's very, very simple. And if you click outside, it does the same thing. It thinks you're trying to get out of it. So we're going to stay on the page because we're not ready to get out. That's pretty much it. You put in text, create a post, and you put in, you can put in some emojis. You can put multiple emojis if you want, by the way, and you can put in some pictures if you want, like in this particular one. And then the important thing to know is on the bottom here it says My Contacts, Share. So to be actually create this post, I need to click on share. But if I do it, it'll share it just with people who follow me, just my contacts. And so if I wanted to post it, so it'll be in what they call the public area, which means anybody on MeWe can see it, then you want to select that and you click on the public option. And now it says public, and I'm going to share it so everybody can see it. And they can comment on it, they can add their own content, stuff like that. At this point in time, notice that also on the bottom here I have share capability because it's public. If this was only my contacts, then there would be no share capability. Right now, you cannot share things that are not public. But public, you can share. And then also, notice it has emojis down below here, which is like its separate little capability or attribute of each post. And if you click on it, and anybody can click on it that can deal with this, you can see you have all the emojis like we talked before, right? So if I put in an emoji, let's pick an emoji that is kind of cool, which would be the US flag, is always cool. Notice it puts number 1 here, which means it's one. This emoji has been used once in this post. And then notice when I hover over it, it shows me the people, the contacts who actually did this. Okay, I shouldn't say the contacts. It doesn't have to be contacts because that's your followers. Anybody who used this emoji would show up in this list here, and at the same time I can actually hover and go right to that particular person by clicking on their name. So that's pretty cool to discover new people and be able to add them as your contacts and then interact with them and so on and so forth. If you see somebody emoji something you appreciate, then maybe you want to talk to these people. So there's a lot of this kind of discovery capability on the website. And it says, all one, so there's only one emoji, and like that. If I click on it again, it's going to disappear, okay? One of the quick tricks about MeWe that you should know is that they set it up right now to have only 4 emojis. So if I click on this emoji and this emoji and this emoji and this emoji, then I have 4 different emojis here, all having 1, and they all show my name, so pretty straightforward. The difference is that right now, if anybody came to this post, they will not have ability to add any emojis because you can only have 4 in the post. So what it means if they click on it again, it's going to show them the list of current emojis, and then they can click on anyone they want to increase the count. Or if they already voted for it, to decrease the count. So if I click on the heart, it will disappear. Okay? You can see right there, it disappeared. And now, because it disappeared, now I can add a different emoji. So we're going to add thumbs up, for example. I'm sorry, I already have thumbs up. We're going to add a different flag. Okay? So now we have 4 again. But again, the important point is there can only be 4 emojis per post. So that means post itself, not any kind of comments, but just emojis in the post. That means that if you wanted to, you could actually pre-set up certain 4 emojis because you don't want people to put any other kind. And then you can just see where people react, how they react using the emojis you told them to use. Now they cannot use their own. So it's not any particularly amazing, awesome, oh my God type feature, but it's something to remember that you can only have 4, and you can leave them alone. You don't have to pre-select them ahead of time, and then people select whatever they want. But at the same time, that's something that you can do to force the issue and force people to use the emojis you want. So just keep that in mind. But it cannot be more than 4 here, okay, per post. And that's it. That's basically the post. You can see the post came 3 minutes ago from me. You can pull down this little pull-down menu, and you can change it from public to my contacts only. And then when it's my contacts only, notice it doesn't say share anymore, it just says repost. So I can repost my own post if I want to, but nobody else will be able to do it. Then you can change it to public. So if you make a mistake, it's no big deal. You can always change it. And in terms of adding anything else, you can just, obviously you can add your own comments. So this is a comment example. But let's look at it a little more detail. So on the comments, it's a little different than posts because one of the things that, remember, we had a hashtag. We don't have hashtag here anymore in the comment. We have emojis and we have the text formatting. So we can still format the text how we want. And by the way, the text formatting doesn't have to be done at the end. For example, over here, if I click on italics and bold, I didn't click on italics. Yeah, it's a little bit, the way they set it up is a little bit touchy. You have to click right on the letter. So I can start typing here, and it's bold and italic, okay? So you can combine these things, number one, as I mentioned earlier, but the important thing here is you can actually select them first and then start typing, and then it's gonna be exactly that. However, if you don't wanna do that, if you wanna go back to normal, for example, etc., but you want to then go back and say, okay, I really meant example to be bold, and just select it. And by the way, you don't have to select the whole word, you can select part of it and click on whatever the formatting you want, and it's going to be like that. So either way, you can either click on the formatting tool option and then start typing in that particular format, or you can just select afterwards whatever piece of text, including all of it, and change it to bold, italics, strike through, whatever makes you happy. So that's a basic comment. I mean, that's like that. And then, of course, that's the text part. Then what you can also do, you can also add photos. You can also add files. So that's one big difference between a Google Plus and here. You could not add files in Google Plus posts. You can add files here. And we're not just talking about, eventually Google Plus allowed to have photos in posts, but initially for a long time it didn't. MeWe has that from the get-go. You can add photos. So if I want to click on photo, again, it goes to this thing. So we don't want to do it, so we jump to photos or whatever other app. I mean, I can go, it doesn't have to be that. I mean, I can go to a website, and there's Bernie, but we'll have to deal with that. So you click on copy image and Bernie here, jump back to MeWe, and simply paste. Where is my post here? Right there, my comment. Simply post right there, and Bernie's picture should emerge eventually. Sometimes it takes a little while, but it's not too bad. So there's his picture there. So we can add the picture. Notice when I add the picture, I can add more pictures, but I don't have any other options. So let's go ahead and you can see here it says this is a public post, and your comments will be visible to everyone in MeWe. Okay, that's what it means there. And this send button, so I'll press send, and so now we have content in the post, and also we have some content here. Now if we go to add another comment, then notice here that I have an option to send photo or file, again, something that wasn't available in Google Plus, or I can add a GIF, animated GIF, and they have a bunch of different things. So since it's Bernie, let's do an eye roll. There we go, the little kid is good. And so you can add that, and then you can also add text here. And you can type in whatever text you want. Goes here, and so then we can post that. And notice everything is in real time. It automatically shows you the animation, and so all of that is very nicely done. And then if you have another comment, one of the other things you have that you didn't have on Google Plus ever is ability to record a voice. So all I have to do is click on voice. I can click on start recording. I can start talking, and it records what I'm saying. It doesn't record in perfect quality, but perfectly good enough for voice. It's kind of makes your voice sound a little different. Then when I get done recording, I just click on stop. And it does its little processing. And depending on how much you record, obviously will determine how long it'll take. And then I can have two options, either to delete it or I can play it back. I can start talking, and it records what I'm saying. It doesn't record in perfect quality, but perfectly good enough for voice. That kind of makes your voice sound a little different. Then when I get done recording, I just click on stop. Okay, so like I said, voice is a little changed, but basically it does the job. So if we save that, so this is voice comment. So keep in mind that that's a major difference between just about everything out there. With ability to record messages by voice like this, you can even communicate via voice. You don't even have to type any text. So that's something to consider. I know it's a definite kind of change of approach for a lot of people because, It's a comment. Why would I record a voice comment? But if you think about it and how we communicate via phones and everything else, it actually makes a lot of sense to have these. And it's pretty new, but also it's pretty cool in terms of being able to do this. Like I said, nothing like this was ever on Google Plus, so we don't even know what it would have been if they had it, but they have it on MeWe, so I'm definitely planning to use it to some degree. Keep in mind that you do have a limitation with storage. In terms of your free account, you have 8 gigabytes of storage, and that's for everything that you're storing. So if you add any kind of, if you upload images, if you upload videos, especially videos, it's going to run out of room pretty quickly, and so you're able to buy additional storage fairly inexpensively. I think it's like for, I'm not sure exactly, I don't want to say anything, but we can look at it later in the store. We can see how much it costs. But you can buy, it's another way to support and help them monetize MeWe is by buying some storage. But when you run out, I'm sure they'll let you know, and then you can buy some more. So just be cautious about that, because if you're linking to an article, it doesn't eat up in your room at all. It's just a link. If you're linking to a YouTube video, it doesn't eat up in your room at all because it's just a link. But if you're actually uploading a video directly into MeWe, then it's definitely eating up part of that storage space you have. So keep that in mind. And I'm sure these voice comments also eat up some room. Not tremendous amount of room, but they eat some room, I'm sure. And then notice on this voice comment, I can also add an emoji. So we'll put in a big smiley face there and stuff. And so on comments, you can have emojis too, and every comment can be afterwards added emojis. So you can see there's one post, very nice. One of the things that unfortunately currently the situation is that you cannot just pull up that particular post as a separate entity. They don't give you the ability to click on anything and just go to just that one post. If I click on my name, as you can see, it just goes to my profile page where it talks about me, kind of like about you page. And it shows my content, all the posts I posted there, so which is great, but it doesn't let me go right to this particular post, nor does it let me share this to the outside entities. So for example, if I say share here, it says I can share to my timeline, I can share in a group, I can share it in a private message, I can share it in an event, something we're going to talk about later, and I can share it in a page. But there is no ability to share to other services like Twitter or Facebook or any other service, or get a link and give it to somebody so they can pull up that particular post. Right now, that's not an option. Obviously, each post is referenced separately internally for them, because I can't share it to a group. It knows exactly what to share. It's going to share that in one post. But there's no way for us at this point that they gave us ability to take that individual link to a post and do something with it. So if anybody at MeWe is listening, that's something that would be extremely useful going forward. But right now, that's not an option. Okay, so that's that. So we have our different kinds of things we can add. Files, we can add, when I say files, I don't mean images. I'm talking about, you can add PowerPoint presentation, or you can add an Excel spreadsheet, or you can add some sort of document. I mean, for business purposes, I think this files capability is awesome. But again, if you're uploading a file, it's going to eat up some storage room, so keep that in mind. Okay, in other words, it might be cheaper in terms of storage for you to reference a link to a document versus uploading the document as a file upload here. So just keep those things in check and in mind. Okay, so that's pretty much how easy it is to create a post, and how easy it is to comment on a post and create emojis and feedback and things like that. Very nice. One other thing that I want to mention before we go here to the next part is that when you do comment on a post, let's say I wanted to comment on, create a comment here. Notice that on this particular post, they have an option called reply. And so if I click on reply as opposed to just comment, then reply goes here for baby Anna. Okay, let's do that. And of course, in reply, you can also add the usual GIFs or voice or file or photos. And let's go ahead and post that. So what's happening here, as you can see, it's indented. It shows a little bit underneath it, obviously, indented. And at this point, people can write replies, but the indentation only goes one level. So here's another reply, and it doesn't get indented anymore. It stays on the same level. So you cannot indent more than one level. which is both good and bad. Because sometimes you have obviously comments that have replies, and then some people want to reply to a reply, which becomes a whole separate thread. But they try to keep it simple, because then it gets also pretty crazy if people keep adding to more and more levels. So you basically have, here's your deal. It says right here, it says 2 replies, and you can shrink them and you can open back up, which is very nice. And you can see that, both of them here, and you can see what was done. So everything is visible, but it does this indentation, which is kind of nice, where if I simply put in another comment, it's here, then you can see that that comment goes on the same left side. And so it makes it a little bit easier to segregate things with the replies on them versus just regular comments. Again, something Google Plus never had, but it's a nice feature. And you have this indented reply capability. So before you immediately start writing a comment, think if there's a reply option, it might be better to put a reply so people know you're replying to a particular comment versus just comment in general to the post. So think of it as one set of comments for the post, and then each comment to the post can also have its own one reply, which is indented. That's the easiest way to think about it. Okay? So those are all the capabilities of what you can do with creating posts and then dealing with them later. Okay, so with that said, you can see that on the bottom there, I got all kinds of stuff concealing a quarter of my screen, and you're wondering, why am I having those? So a couple of things. Number one is these are the things that they automatically show you when you haven't seen the content in them yet. It's either the groups or individual people in terms of chats. So one thing you can do is if you click on the top bar of each one of these, notice it shrinks them down, minimizes them to go to bottom of the screen. Also notice that if I hover over the name at the top bar there, it'll take me directly to that. In this case, it happens to be a group. It'll take me right to that group. Okay, and then same thing here. If I click here, it'll take me to IT Professionals group. So right now, I just want to shrink it down so I don't have to deal with it at this point. So you can see it eats up very little room that way, and screen is much more breathable and usable, and it's all good this way. Okay, so let's continue to move on. So we were on the home page. We can easily get to it by just clicking on it again, and it's going to reload our home page and show us the latest content. So at the top again, ability to create new posts, very easy. Then we see our main timeline going down, okay? And then on the right side here, we have a little bit of blurb about particular person you're looking at. So for example, let's say I wanted to look at this Chris, who is a very funny guy. Definitely recommend you follow the guy. Sometimes his language is a little bit not, let's say, for work, but the guy is awesome. Definitely recommend the guy. So Chris here, as you can see when I go to his profile, you can see a bunch of details about him. You can see that number one, it says here that I can chat with him. And it says you and Chris haven't chatted yet. I can send a message directly from this display here. So from every person, when you go to their profile view, which is what this is, it gives you a little bit about them. Okay, and also it tells you, and by the way, this little bit can be as much as you want or as little as you want. If you looked at my profile, you can see I put a lot more than Chris did. But that's totally up to you. You can set up however you want. And then over here, it says show Chris's posts in your home feed. So this is where initially when you start out, they ask you this question, and then later you can change it. You don't have to see everybody who follows you or everybody you follow. You don't have to see them, as your contacts. You don't have to see them in your timeline. So this is what this means. The home feed is the same as timeline. It's not going to show them if I check this off. I obviously like the guy's content, so in my case, it's checked on. And then it says allow Chris to see what you post in your timeline. So we can go both ways. You have full control over, do you want to show your stuff in his feed, and do you want to see his stuff in your feed? So very nice, very simple, at the same time, very, very, very thoughtful in terms of how you control this. And then, of course, if I scroll through, I can see his stuff here. Apparently, he is not a fan of Nancy. All right, let's go back to home. Notice that some things take a little bit longer to pull up, but most of the time it's pretty quick. I have a 100 megabit internet connection, so it's pretty fast. So over here on the right side, I have a little bit about me. They got little cute little things like what I'm eating, what I'm drinking, what I'm reading, and you can put these in. Like right now, let's say I'm watching. I'm not watching anything. I'm recording. Maybe video, whatever. Okay, so you can put a little deal like that, and then when people hover over it, they can actually see, oh, he's listening to Jazz Funk, and his favorite quote is, from The Office. Okay, and then of course the image, you can change the image. This is one of my photos, so I put in there to be whatever you want. One of the nice things about their profile photos is you can actually change your image to be different for each group that you join, which is kind of nifty. Then on below that, you can see it says new posts, and it shows me all the different areas where I can go to. In this particular case, it's different groups where there have been new posts that I haven't seen yet. And the numbers, I don't know why they didn't make them red. Usually they make it red everywhere. In this case, they didn't. I guess they show the group color. Each group can have its own color, so that's probably why. Yeah, I'm sure that's what it is. Anyway, so it shows the number of posts that I missed in this group, in this group, this group, this group. So this particular display here, you see, will show nothing. It'll actually be, this box will be gone once I've seen everything. Okay, so that's kind of nifty how they show what's unseen for you personally. Then once you consume it, then it goes away. Very useful. Then they also have a capability which is also different compared to other platforms, is they call it full photo stream. And the photo stream just shows you from your timeline all the different things people posted where they have images. And so, for example, if I wanted to see, oh, this Wendy's thing looks kind of interesting, if I click on this Wendy's, it'll go ahead and pull up the post itself and the comments and everything with this particular picture in it. So you can visually go to a particular information that you wanted. If I wanted to see, let's see, it would be kind of interesting. I don't know. Let's see. See what this little girl thing is. I must tell you this and blah blah blah. So this particular lady, yeah, I guess we are contact, so that's what it shows. So anyway, so that's allows you to kind of scroll through there. You can scroll as much as you want. If you're interested in that kind of ability to jump into content based on photos, then they have this photo stream capability to do that. And down at the bottom here, you can see they have all kinds of languages. And for some reason, they're skipping Russian, which irritates me. No, I'm just kidding. But they have a bunch of, looks like, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 12, 14 languages so far, which is pretty cool. You can switch to whatever language you want. And so that's, scroll there and here and see everything. Now, in terms of the groups I'm a member of that I haven't seen stuff, if I click on it, for example, it pulls up, this is the chat for it, and I can just close it. In addition to that, I can close it from here. In addition to that, I can open it up, and then I can click on this little, a couple of options here I might as well go over. There's information about this particular group. There's the name of the group, and then it's got some additional information here, but it makes it a little bit larger. As you can see, the chat becomes larger. So I can definitely have a little more room. If I click on the heading, it's going to take me right to it. If I click on the open it up and make it go to a larger size, you can see it looks like this. It makes it nice and large. And then you can see more, you can type, people respond, so on and so forth. Scroll through the content, also have images, different things like that in chat. So it's similar to comments, similar to posts, but it just shows down below. And of course, if I didn't want to type here because it's too low, what I can do is I can also click on, let me click on, I want to show you this one. Let's just go to IT Pros. And what I can also do is I can just click on the actual name of the group. It'll take me right to it, and I can see that same content here as well. And I can respond to things here as well. Okay. So that's the stuff on the bottom here. And let's go ahead and go back home. So we pretty much covered kind of main interface on the home page here. There's really nothing more there. And now let's go ahead and continue talking about things up at the top here. So we go into chats, and in chats, notice when I hover over it, it shows me the same exact list here as we saw if we clicked on a chat, we saw it down here. So you can click on chats link here, and it's going to pull up all these chats here. Or if you just simply hover, it shows you the exact same content without changing the pages. If I click it, it changes to this page. But if I'm sitting on a home page, let's jump back to home page. And from the home page, it's a little slow today. If I hover over chats, then what it's going to do is going to show me that same list of chats, and it's going to show me the ones that would have new content with little red blurbs, and show me the little green dots for people who are online. It basically shows you exactly the same thing as if I clicked on a chat, but I notice I'm still on the home page. So at this point, I can just go right to, let's see, it'll be something. Do you have anything I want to reply to? Go to Elaine here and say, hello, Elaine. Something like that. Little emoji in there. And notice if I put in my like smiley emoji, it automatically replaces it with this one. And because she's a nice lady, we'll let's see what we got here for ladies. How about if we give her like a nice little flower like this one? So again, I click on the deal to open it. I right click, copy image, jump back, and paste it in here. By the way, when you paste, make sure you click on the text. Click inside the box first before you click Shift V for Control V. I'm sorry, for paste. And it goes in there, and we click send, and we're done. So it looks like that. So notice my stuff is in white text on blue background, and her text is black on white background. So it's very easy to distinguish between. Obviously, you have little faces, but very easy to distinguish between different people, what they're, who is indicating what, basically. So that's the chat part. So I think we're done with the line here. And I can go to any of these same kind of way. You click here, and there's the Chat for IT Professionals group. And, there's Casey Biggs saying hi, and so on and so forth. Okay? Very simple. So the only thing I would say about chats is, number one, you can type in this top box there for search chats. So I can search for management or something like that, and it's going to come up with all the posts that have the words IT and management in their chats. And then, of course, you can go to it by clicking on it. Okay, even though it had nothing to do with me, you can find stuff pretty quickly on any kind of topic in chats. So that's very handy. Second thing you can do is you can also create a new chat at the top here by clicking on the little plus sign. And then it says, who do you want to chat with? And so you indicate I want to chat with, I don't know, how about Mark? Mark. And there is Mark Boris, my buddy Mark. And so I click on Mark, and there is all the stuff. It was up my chat with Mark before. Give Mark this, and that's all we need to say. So there is that. So you can type in the name of the person, and it'll come up, and then you can chat with them that way. Keep in mind that over here, you also have ability when you chat to have video and audio chat too. And the way that works is if you click on, for example, video chat, it says that voice and video calling, it says, their usual mantra, no BS for MeWe. And it says you have the highest quality voice and video calling on the planet, which, I haven't actually tested to see if that claim is true or not, but kudos if that's what they're trying to achieve to them. And it says, take it for a test drive and try it free for 3 days, cancel anytime. So this is one of the paid services, and they only charge $2 a month for using it, both voice and video calling. And so, again, it's a way to support MeWe development and everything. So it's something I'm definitely going to subscribe to. I'm also going to have another video to show you how you can actually get these things for free. There's a way to do that too. But if not, that's okay. I mean, they get their money either way. And so for $2 a month, it's not that much if you're actually going to do something like that. So that's a nice thing also. They have ability to do audio and video chats in addition to text chatting, and you can leave a little voice message here too, just like in the regular posts. Very nice in terms of communication, engagement. I haven't seen anything like that. They have these kind of capabilities this simply. And then if you click on the little ellipsis on the right side there on my chats, then you can turn on and off chat requests, so people cannot ask you to be able to chat. By default, they can. You can mark all these chats as read. So if you don't want to read them, it'll erase all the little blurbs. So let's do that. And now see there's no little red things anymore. And then it says auto open new messages, which is what we had that row on the bottom was. And so if you don't want to do that, I can just simply turn it off like that. Now I'm not going to have those boxes come up automatically. And sound for new messages is beautiful, very nice little feature for about 2 minutes. Then after that, it gets so annoying that you want to throw the thing out the window. So I would definitely recommend you turn this off. But if you're doing a lot of chatting and you're into it and you want to know whenever somebody wants to chat with you, by all means turn the sound on. So for new messages. So those are the options you can have for my chats. And that's pretty much it. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. I mean, if you click on info here, it shows you photos, files, and posts that were part of this particular chat, which is handy to be able to go to. See, we have some doodles you can do, different things like that. That's something you can do on the mobile version of the app. And see, we got view profile for the person here. You can block or report this person, so they're not going to get in your face. And you can delete the entire chat. So those are the options you can have here on the right, under the info. And that's basically it in terms of chats. So very simple, very convenient, very useful. Okay? Then the next category we have in the main area here is groups. So this is going to be something you'll be using a lot. And groups has to do with, again, segregation, organization of content. And so typically it's based on anything, but I would imagine would be topics of some interest to some people. So for example, if I look through groups, there is a group I have called Commodore Amiga. I was a huge Amiga fan back in the days, still am, best computer ever built. And I don't use it anymore, but I still have very fond memories of using Amigas. And so, there is a group where people talk about different things to do with Amiga in the past and currently, as you can see. So I subscribe to it, and I joined the group, and so now being part of the group, I can at least see what's going on, which is kind of interesting for me. Then, I have another group I set up called Snapshots and Vids, and that's the group where I post my own pictures, but I wanted people to be able to post their own pictures in there as well, so that's why I set it up as a group versus a page. Another thing I wanted to mention about pages is that page doesn't allow you to have people post content to them, so you can only post your own content. So it's kind of nice. That's kind of what I initially was thinking, but pages are not free. You can only have one page for free. The rest of them you have to pay for. And at the time when I did this, I thought that I want people to participate, and I wasn't sure I wanted to pay for a page just for my own pictures. So I set it up as a group. So keep that in mind. If you don't mind, you can allow totally, decide who you're going to allow into your group. You can even have a group that you don't allow anybody to be part of the group if you want to keep it closed like that. So it becomes like a page. But if it's a page, they give you one page, I believe, for free, and that's what I set up for my business. And then the rest of them you have to pay for. So another way for them to monetize. Keep that in mind. So this is a group that has my photos, even though I had some other people, a lot of people look at it and comment on it, but at the same time, nobody has actually posted. And if you go to the top here, you can see that if you look at members, which is this category here, you can see that I have 8 members now. Wow, getting big there. But at the same time, none of these people, they just look at stuff, they don't post stuff. But if you look at my other group, like I set up a group for my music, Jazz Fusion Aficionados, that one probably has a few more members. Yeah, that one has 38. So I only started this a couple of weeks ago, or about a month ago, I should say. So yeah, so it's growing. So it shows you can actually, for each group, you can see who are the members, and then you can ask people to become contacts with you and see their info. And in other words, everything is pretty much open in terms of information here, even for other people. Because most of these people here are not my contacts. Some of them are, but a lot of them aren't. And so, if you look at somebody who is not your contact, then you can always make him your contact. Like for example, if I click on, you can see at the bottom here on each of these people, like over here it says chat, remove, and block for Mark, which is like I said, a friend of mine and a contact for sure. But then this gentleman here, this Michael McGee, is not a contact. So I have an option here for him to add him as a contact. And then I can also chat, I can remove, I can block. So you can easily tell which people are contacts, which people are not contacts. And then if I go to posts, you can see all the different posts. Notice that in the beginning there, for the post, I set up as a poll. You can also do polls in groups. And when you set up a poll, you can set up to 20 categories, or 20 responses, I should say. And you can also then open it up, and you can close it anytime. You can set it up to be date-based, so you can run it for a month or 3 months or whatever, or you can run it permanently and just keep it open. Like right now, I have this one open. It's been 20 votes so far, and let's see what we got here. This is my vote because it's in dark, and also it happens to be the most popular too. So it seems like most people who are part of this group or community are like the same kind of jazz that I do, which is pretty cool. So, and I can close it anytime as the owner of the group. So you can have polls. You can have posts that are featured posts. So you can see right here would say, let's go to a post here. If I wanted to make it, see it says make it a feature. So it'll stick it at the top and keep it at the top. And then anytime I want to remove it, I can do an unfeature. And then for every post in the group, I can edit it, I can delete it, and I can remove post notifications so it doesn't bug me with notifications. Then I have all kinds of tags here. So if I wanted to look at, for example, Jazz Fusion, then I got all these posts within the group that have that hashtag. That's where the hashtags become super useful, because you can drill down inside a particular piece of content. So I'm not looking at everybody, I'm just looking at my one group, and it's only dealing with this kind of music I like, and then within that music I'm also dealing with particular category of music. So it makes segregation information much nicer, and being able to just pull up the content you want, very, very nice by using this approach. Also notice that in addition to having tags and having the posts, in addition to that, they also have group chat. So you can have, remember we talked about multiple chat capabilities. I showed you a chat where I have chat with specific people, like I had with Mark, but here I'm able to actually group chat. It would be everybody as part of this group. So that's a completely separate chat than being able to talk to this Michael Herenshaw, for example. I can talk to him directly, separately, but I can also talk to him as part of this group chat, which is very, very nice the way they got that set up. So you can do that. So each group has a community of people, and that community can communicate just within the community. Very nicely done. And then, of course, you can, on the left here, and jumping kind of back and forth a little bit on the left, you can see that I have other groups I can jump to from here. So it shows me all my groups. And when I say my groups, it's groups that I created and also groups that I'm a member of. It's both, okay? And it usually sorts them by whatever you click on last, the use last, it sorts them at the top. So they're not in alphabetical order, they're in the order of that. But if you're a member of many, many groups and you want to be able to search, just like what chat was, you can just type in music, for example, and it says nothing is found. How about jazz? And it immediately shows me that category, that particular one. If I type in social, it shows me right here. So you can see, it immediately drills down to within this list. I've heard some people are members of like hundreds of groups, which will make it almost impossible to find the one you want unless you start typing. So very nicely done there. It says invite your friends. So you can click on a link, and it comes up with a list of your contacts, or you can jump to email, or you can jump into share, and you can invite people to go specifically to this particular group, which is very nice. There is the link for it. You can just copy it to clipboard, or you can share the link on Facebook or on Twitter. So very easy to try to let people know about your group and what you have, what you do. So that's the group. Again, that's the capability of being able to have other people become members of the group, and then they can also post to the same group and comment on the same group. Excuse me. Okay, moving on. Then we go into pages, and pages are same kind of deal. You have my pages here. You can create a new page. And by the way, before I jump here, in the groups, notice at the top, like we had create new chat. They also have a plus for create new group, and they also have when you're under pages, create new page. And also hovering works the same all of them. We hover, we see chats. We hover, we see groups. We hover, we see pages. So it goes from all of them. So if we go back to the page, we can create a new page, or we can follow existing pages. And you can search for whatever pages you want. For example, if you want to search for news, it shows me, I guess that search goes within here, but you can definitely browse open groups, as they call them. And if you type in news in the search, main search, and then you say, I want to search, instead of everything, I want to look for pages that have the word news in them. It comes up with all kinds of different options for you there. You can look through and check it out and see if you want to follow them. If you want to look for groups that have the word news in it, then there's all these groups in there. So, it's very easy to look and find things that you're trying to find. So let's go back to pages. And here, for example, if I click on Fox News, no, again, it shows a little blurb showing how many I haven't read yet, but let's click on Fox News. And the page comes up and it shows, the post here in the main area there, main column. And it shows hashtags, just like the group had. I cannot do a chat with this particular page. That's something that they don't have. You can't chat with a page. Okay, you can only chat with a group, which kind of makes sense because the page, remember, people can only follow you here and watch it, but they can't contribute in terms of posts. They can only contribute comments. Okay, so if I go here, I cannot create a post. There's nothing to create a post, but I can easily put in a comment. And then you have, down here, you have photos and videos dealing with that particular page. So you can jump directly to an image and based on that see the post, which is very nice. And then you can see all the information about the page. And then over here it says following, so you can easily unfollow if you want to. And if I go to TechCrunch, then PCS is mine. TechCrunch shows there's 6,858 followers, and it's got all kinds of content there. Similar type stuff. And of course, if I like this article, see something I like. First, unscrewed test flight schedule. That sounds pretty cool for Boeing. So I'm going to click on this. Notice I have these 4 things here. So, like I mentioned earlier, I cannot do more than create another new emoji for here. All I can do is click on the existing one. So I'm going to click on thumbs up. And now when I click on thumbs up, it went from 3 to 4. So 4 people click thumbs up on this. And, there's the comments that people made in regards to this. And there is also one reply here to this particular comment. So that's how that part works and looks. And I have one page for my PCS business. So I'm going to do a shameless soft plug. 14 followers, getting there. If you're interested in anything technology related, especially for business, then this is definitely one of the pages to follow. Called Productive Computer Systems, PCS, and if from there you can obviously leave me comments, questions. I'll be happy to answer them, since that's what I do for a living. So that's my company, Productive Computer Systems. Also, you can click on see the videos and the post involved and about page. One thing I wanted to mention is when you create content, keep in mind that any videos and photos you share are visible in this separate category here, photos, videos. So think of it this way: when you create content yourself, think of it, if people might want to be able to search for information based on that, then it makes sense to don't just put in posts without pictures, because if you want people to be able to find you by pictures, this is what you want to do. And also notice over here, it's got tags. And so that's another thing that could be done. So I have a tag called Gmail. If I click on tag called Gmail, these 2 things come up in terms of imagery dealing with Gmail. Oh, okay, over here. So I can click on tags on the right side, and over here I can go to my Gmail tag. somewhere in here. Well, I guess I can just simply start typing Gmail and it'll show me Gmail, and then we click on it, and now it's going to come up with all the posts that have Gmail in the hashtag. Okay, so that's how you search for content based on hashtags on pages. So you can based on photos and videos. You can look at notifications. It's pretty cool, and you can just consume the content however you prefer. And then about has the about stuff, and then settings is ability for me to change various information dealing with, I can add admins, I can put in content location, general information, notifications, when if you want to get them every 4 hours or 24 hours or turn them off, people who are banned. So it's very nice in terms of security and privacy. They did a beautiful job so far, and I'm really impressed. So anyway, so there's my page there. And that's how pages work. And of course, you can create, if you create a new page, it'll tell you that it's $3 a month to host a page. And then you put whatever you need to put in there. So another way for them to monetize in 2 steps. So that's the pages. So we've gone through home, main timeline. We looked at chats, we looked at groups, we looked at pages. The other thing that they have that's different than Google Plus is events, because it's a separate category by itself, but at the same time it's integrated with groups, which I'll show you in a minute. But here you're able to create your own event. Let's say we create an open event or private. Let's create an open event. You're able to, change the picture to be whatever you want it to be, including uploading your own. You put in event name, test event. You put in location, Zoom video conference or whatever, or on YouTube, whatever you want to put in. You indicate the month, and so we're going to do it on the 10th of April. From 10 to 11 is good, and we describe best event, and it says reminder so many minutes before. If it's a repeating, you can have repeating events, which is really nice. So you can do it daily, weekly, monthly, or yearly. You can post the event to your timeline, and all posts that go into the event must be approved by me. So if you check that off, it means nobody will be able to put any kind of additional information there unless it's approved by you. So you have full control over everything. And so we're going to create the event there. And it says, who do you want to invite? So one of the things that they kind of screwed up here a little bit, in my opinion, is you don't have ability to say select everybody here. So these are all my contacts. And right now, I have, I don't know, a few hundred, whatever I have. But potentially you could have thousands or even more. I mean, I used to have 10,000 on Google Plus, and they definitely need to improve that to so you don't have to sit like an idiot and keep clicking to select everybody. I mean, if I want to invite everybody, I have to be clicking one at a time like this. This is crazy. So I'll hope they change this to select everything, because there is no select all option here. With that said, once you invite them, I'm not going to do that because I don't want to invite these people to bogus events. I'm going to invite Mark, because Mark doesn't get mad at me. He likes me, at least so far he did. And so now we have just Mark selected. I'm going to say invite friends. And so now he'll get the invitation. Everybody who is invited get the invitation. I can create a post here. It should be fun. And we'll add a photo. And this time I'm going to add it from actual computer. So we'll add a photo, the old photo of Nike, which is David Emerlin's cat. And then it's got this option called test event. Okay, that's the name of the event. That's right. All right, and then we can add a little emoji here and put a big smiley face and click share. And so notice it becomes part of the, it's a post inside the event. And of course, people can create other posts here, people who were invited, that is. And it's got, if it's a YouTube, you could have the YouTube link here, and it says who the host is, and so on and so forth. So all the details about the event, events coming up, it will drop it, I believe. Let's see if it does. So this is the April 10th. So if we refresh April 10th, no, it hasn't added it yet. I don't know if they have the integration with Google Calendar or not, but so far I don't see it in there. And that's something if they don't have right now, I don't know if it just hasn't synced yet or if they actually don't have the capability yet, because I haven't really done these yet. But would be nice, obviously, if it would add it to your calendar too. And then if you click on attendees here, you can see all the attendees that are going. And right now I have one going, one invited. Obviously, I'm going because I created the event. And then you have the invited is Mark. And then notice also it has this ability below, it says transfer event ownership, which means if you have multiple people and you want to let somebody else control the settings, you can just pass it on to them. And in terms of looking at who is invited, you can jump right into the chat with them. You can cancel the invitation to them. I mean, beautiful how they did this. You can look at all the photos and videos. There's only Nike there. And you can look at settings that allow you to change the event photo. You can change basically all this information, all the details. And you can see the change it to be from open to private event. You can change the event details. You can change the permissions, who is doing what. It says, event permissions requires approval. So you can require approval. My permissions, my posts do not allow people to download photos in this event. So if I want, I can prevent people from downloading. Keep in mind, this is really a semi-bogus feature because anybody can jump into a screen capture program and just grab it anyway. So this is not a big feature there. And allow people to download photos. Okay. So it says here in this event, you may post, comment, chat, reshare, and invite. So you can control what people can do there. Nice. You can invite additional friends. You can set up new events here by clicking on plus or clicking here. And then all your events are listed here, existing ones and future ones. And it's nice. And then, of course, when you actually have the event itself, then you can, you have the calendar that allows you to see various events in the calendar when you set it up. So that's how events work. And of course, you can also have event can have its own chat. So we have chats for groups, we have chats for individual people, and we also have chats for events. If you go to groups, then in groups you have members, photos, videos. We talked about all the files, but you also have events here. And so you can actually create an event for a group. Let's say on the 11th, we're going to create event for a group. This would be music drums. And put in some kind of location, whatever it's going to be. And all of that. Time zone from, so we do from 11:30 till 12:30. And yeah, this is great here. Invite all group members. So when you create it for a group, notice it's got an option here by default, invite all group members. So everybody will get invited to this particular event. I'm not going to do it because there's not going to be an event, but it says create post in group. So this way you're able to quickly promote it in the group itself, and you're able to invite everybody automatically to participate in that event. So it's very, very nice, to be able to do events based on groups. Beautiful job. Beautiful job. So let's cancel this and close. And that's the events for groups. Okay, when you go to my events, you see they show this calendar. And notice that I have this test event that I put in for the 10th. So it shows me on their calendar, but on my calendar, it doesn't show me. So, okay. So it's kind of semi-done at this point. In other words, they have it set up for their own calendar where you can see events that are already, it just shows the calendar of all the events. Okay, that's how it's done. And it doesn't sync to my calendar just yet. Okay, hopefully they'll make it work. And you can add things like you can see people's birthdays, you can see what's coming up. Nice job. All right, okay, so that's pretty much it on the main categories here. And then if you click on MeWe, it takes you to the home page. So let's do that. And I'm going to go ahead and delete this particular post, and you do that by clicking on the ellipsis and selecting delete post right there. And are you sure? Yep, positive. Get rid of it. That's it. Notice that I deleted the post, not the event itself. So to delete the event, you go to the settings at the event page, and then at the bottom under advanced, you have ability to say delete this event. So it's kind of hidden intentionally, so you don't accidentally delete events, but it tells you, are you absolutely sure you want to delete? You will not be able to undo this. And it's yes, I'm absolutely sure. So they're trying to make it so people don't accidentally do anything they don't really want to do, which is nice. So again, we click on the MeWe logo to go to the home page with our main timeline, and next to it is the search box, so you can search for anything. Let's say we search for car repair. So car repair will come up with a few entries from everything. It's got people that have car repair, posts. It's got all kinds of different deals related to car repair, groups, and so on. And each one of these things has view all, view all. So if you click on view all, it's going to show me all the people that have anything to do with car repair. You can just scroll through them and read this stuff. Or you can click here on the left to go to chats dealing with car repair, and it's going to come up with whatever is there. Pages, probably a lot more pages with car repair. No, not that many. Groups. Yeah, a few groups, not too many. Okay, anyway, that's the search deal. Pretty straightforward, pretty easy. And then we have the MeWe store. So let's talk about that for a second. You go in there, and it allows you to look at everything, and or you can go to themes, subscriptions, emoji. So in subscriptions, they have the voice and video chat, which I mentioned earlier, for $2 a month, $1.99 a month. You can easily add it and pay for it. In themes, you have the dark theme for mobile, which you can see it says purchase, so it tells you exactly what's happening on your end. And then they have all these different emojis here, and the pages, you pay for the pages. They don't have them from here. You actually create a new page, and then you go and you pay for it, and that's how the pages are set up. So that's another thing that you can use to help them maintain all this stuff. And so it's pretty easy, straightforward. You just buy it, and it's yours. Next thing is in notifications, where if you click on it, it's pretty detailed notifications about anything that's kind of this blue, dark blue, not dark blue, but light blue background means I haven't read it yet. White means I read it. So if I click on whatever, like this one here, well, let's click on something else. How about this one? Yeah, it just basically shows me that somebody emojied this particular post. So you can see that, and you just go through them, and then if you don't want to look at them, pretty much fine with whatever it says here. You don't need to see the details. If you see the details, you click on it. If you don't want to see the details, you just click on mark all as read, and you're done. I'll check these out later. So that's that. That's notifications. And then, of course, your own little avatar. You can look at your profile, set up all kinds of settings there. You can look at my contacts to see your contacts. My cloud, I'm not sure what that does. On my cloud, just shows the files, images, tags, all the details, and shows you how much space you're using. Like right now, I'm using I'm using just under 1 gigabyte so far, even though I have quite a bit of content already. And I have 7.7 gigabytes free. So there's plenty of room to grow still. But if I need more space, if I click on it, it shows me I have I can buy for $4 a month 50 gigabytes. I can buy 100 for $6 a month, and I can buy 500 for $14.99 a month. And so, it's reasonably priced and easy to expand if need be. And you can also download your content, kind of like Google Takeout. So you have ability to do that as well. I haven't done it. I'm not sure what format they store it in, but probably some typical JSON or CSV, so it's usable. So that's the profile, and you can upload additional photos to use. And we've got and videos too. Settings, I won't go into. I'll have a separate video for all the details for settings because there's many categories, many different options, a lot to go through. But it's fairly straightforward. So if you go through it carefully, you should be able to see what's what. And also we've got, you can send out feedback by selecting this option. And also you can log out, and apparently I can switch to dark theme right from here. This is what dark theme looks like on desktop. So you can have it on mobile, you can have it on desktop. And then we go back to light theme. Looks like this. Okay, that concludes our walk through the MeWe, kind of in a quick fashion, relatively quick. There's a lot of stuff they have. There's a lot of capabilities, a lot of options. And so just be careful going through it. If you have any questions, by all means, put them in there. I wanted to highlight one more thing about, speaking of questions. There is a group which is called Social Media Transition and Support. That's a group that I'm currently an admin in, something that was started by a gentleman by the name of Ken Webster, who does a great job. He was a gentleman that I was a follower of on Google+, and he's done a lot of work here on MeWe, and so he's got several different groups of his own that you might want to follow. Definitely want to follow him, and definitely become a member of this group, Social Media Transition and Support, because we're trying to kind of help everybody who comes here from other platforms, not just Google+, and help them out to get acquainted with MeWe and use it to its full extent. So feel free to join this group, leave your questions, and we'll do our best. There's several different admins, and Ken himself is involved as well. So it's a good group to follow if you have any questions or if you'd like to get more information. With that said, thank you very much for taking a look at this walkthrough MeWe, and hope to see you soon. Take care.